I'm a media supervisor at What Hot Millennial Summer.
My name's Matt. I'm on the strategy team at Wet Hot Millennial Summer. We're really excited to talk to you today about DigiTreats. So a little bit about who you are today and what we love. We're really excited to get this brief because we're big fans of your brand. You guys have a quality product that's been providing great experience for years. Love the texture, taste, all that kind of stuff. And being such big fans, we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to carry that legacy on to the future. So taking a quick look at who's in the space and where you guys stack up against the competition, all the rest of the noise that's there, we're looking at it in terms of two different things, legacy and personality. Legacy meaning the amount of time you've been around and the amount of equity you've been able to build, as well as personality, the kind of tone you take in your communications and your messaging, right? And the kind of fun that you have. You see like Skittles and Sour Patch Kids are two brands that represent a lot of fun, may not be around for a lot of time, but Junior Mints and Milk Duds have been around for a lot of time, but aren't as fun in their communications. Very nostalgic products. So our challenge, what we heard from you guys, is to develop a program that gets DigiTreats into the conversation with young transitionals.
That being said, we really heard what you said, and we feel like the challenge is a little bit different. We want to evolve DigiTreats from a heritage brand to a brand that really connects with that younger generation. So with that, we do want to talk a little bit about the audience. So you guys told us that this is an audience of 19 to 24-year-olds. They are young transitionals. They are establishing themselves, whether that's in the job force right now or maybe in college. And they are really facing a great deal of both internal and external pressure. So we did want to put a face to this audience, so we want to introduce you guys to Stephanie. She is 21 years old. She's a college student. Her biggest insecurity is forgetting her mobile phone at home. I'm sure that's something we can all relate to. She is very focused on establishing herself, and she does get very overwhelmed with the lack of time that she has in her life. Given all of the activities that she's involved in, she just doesn't have the time to really reward herself for everything that she's accomplishing. What motivates Stephanie? She is definitely influenced by her peers. She really wants to feel cool. She wants to be in the know. She follows celebrities as well as celebrity news. And she definitely has some anxiety around missing out on experiences, whether it's with her friends or on campus. And especially as all of her responsibilities are growing, her free time gets a lot more strained. It gets more limited, so she's not able to do everything that she wants to do. Where does Stephanie live online? What is she up to? She's always on the go, we know that, and she's tied to her phone. Most of her communication with her peers is on her mobile device. And she does think that the most influential places on her phone are platforms like Instagram, Tumblr, and Snapchat, and that's really where she's keeping up with the times and with her friends. So what is our approach?
Cool. So what we really landed on here, the insight that we really want to come across, is that Stephanie's always busy, really busy, no time to take a break. And it turns out in her busy life, she's frequently accomplishing all these minor achievements, all these minor wins, and even sometimes some setbacks. But the wins we're going to focus on, we often feel like they go unrecognized and uncelebrated. She doesn't have time to celebrate them.
So we want DigiTreats to be the brand that empowers Stephanie to treat herself. Take a little time out of your day and treat yourself. So how are we going to treat ourselves? How are we going to get these young transitionals to take that time out? So there's a few different ways that we're going to do that. We want to recognize those small wins and even help Stephanie and her friends really overcome the minor setbacks that come with everyday life. We, of course, want to deliver some sweet surprises that don't require her to take time away from her already busy life to celebrate. So anything that really takes more than 15 to 30 seconds, asking her to do that is not super feasible. And we do also want to help her be a part of something that's exciting, that's new, that's fresh, but again, without adding any more tasks to her full plate. A couple of considerations before we talk about our ideas. We do want to make sure that we're reaching her on the go. As mentioned, that's very important in her lifestyle and given her obsession with her phone. And we want to make sure we're really cutting through that everyday clutter. And we also want to offer easy ways in. So she doesn't have a lot of time and she has even less patience. Also, we don't want to alienate those moms that we have been reaching this whole time. They're still an important part of our audience. And certain brands like Sour Patch Kids, for example, they're great for younger audiences, but I think in a lot of ways they do alienate those older audiences. And so we want to keep the conversation really positive. We want to make sure that this is a brand that still relates to that original generation, but is also really reaching out to those new prospects and getting them super excited. So with that, Digitreats, the brand that empowers you to treat yourself.
Cool. So that brings us to our first concept here, which is sweet saves and daily treats. What we want to do is be able to seek out conversations that are happening online, listen in, keep a close ear to the ground, and excuse me, hone in on our target audience to really identify those small wins that they don't have time to celebrate, or those minor setbacks that we want to step in there, let them know that it's okay, take the time out of the day to go and treat yourself. So a couple of examples. We've got the first one that you're seeing here is actually a way for us to stay culturally relevant and integrate with celebrities and influencers. You see here, Jon Stewart recently got beat up by John Cena in the WWE ring, and he's hurting from that achy back now. So we want to let him know, hey, Jon Stewart, it's okay. We saw you get beat up, but you can take some time to treat yourself with some Digitreats. Or on the right, we've got Julian here, who's just moving into his new apartment. Probably isn't going to take the time to celebrate properly. We're really pumped for him, though, and we want to let him know that, hey, man, congratulations. Treat yourself to some Digitreats.
All right, so in terms of sweet relief, our next idea, we definitely understand the value of getting that digital presence, but we also want to make sure we have a boots on the ground approach here. So we want to get street teams out to big college campuses, and we want to basically intercept students if they're in a stressful moment or they're celebrating. We want to hand them this product. We want to get it in their hands. We want them to try it. We want them to savor it. We want them to enjoy it and start getting excited about this. We also think it would be great to enable some social crowdsourcing. So encourage users to tweet, treat me, and then we would respond by potentially going to their location if we get enough response there. So getting people a part of this conversation about Digitreats, a brand that they might have known about growing up as kids, but now they can actually relate to.
Cool. And now for the big idea that we're really excited about. We wanted to do something really innovative for you guys here, and what we want to do is create the first ever sponsored takeover of Snapchat.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
So is Digitreat a product that exists today?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the product that you guys gave us in the brief. So it's a product that's been around for a while for those moms, and we are just trying to make it relevant for the 19 to 24-year-olds.
And because it talks about the flavor and texture, I haven't seen anything on that. So is that something that you've defined through this presentation, or
You mean for
the
Digitreats?
impact of the impact of those two aspects?
Well, it's something you already know. You're well aware of the quality of your product and the problem that you're currently facing. So we want to make sure that we're addressing the real problem, which is making sure that your legacy lives on. Of course. So back to the big idea here. Running out of time. So whether you guys are aware of this or not, around every holiday season, Snapchat sends out their own sponsored story just by themselves. What we want to do is do the first branded takeover sponsored Snapchat story for Halloween. Digitreats has an enormous opportunity to make a splash in this space where there isn't a lot of noise currently around the Halloween time, and pretty much own the platform. So what we want to do is engage people, send them out a message that says, hey, come and trick or treat with us on Halloween, something like that. To participate, send back a snap of yourself, and then Once they're entered, we want to deliver tricks and treats from the brand. Tricks, just fun stuff to continue to live in the treat yourself kind of moment. And treats, this is where it starts to get kind of fun. We want to reply with anything from promo codes for free candy or concert tickets or even a spring break trip.
So with Snapchat specifically, how do you plan on tracking that progress? Snapchat's a tough thing to kind of transfer what good you're actually doing on there. So how would you guys be doing that?
Absolutely. We see this as a really big PR opportunity, really big chance to generate a lot of earned media impressions and generate a ton of buzz.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, is making sure that this is being captured in the press, so that will give it some legs. And I think additionally, when people are responding back to us, we will get a sense of how big of a pool we are interacting with here, so we can track it in that way too in terms of audience size.
Cool. And this is going to take you from down there to up there. You guys are going to have personality and much more cultural equity. It's going to give you legs to communicate with that younger audience.
But still really maintaining that base as a legacy brand. So measuring success. We know in the beginning here, we're really looking to reach a new audience, get them in at the top of the funnel. So this is about awareness, brand buzz, some of that press we were talking about, fan acquisition, as well as really maintaining that relevance among this new audience. But it's also really important after we generate that awareness, we get people in the funnel to follow up. So whether that means, really tracking through data and retargeting, just reaching these consumers again to make sure that they don't just like our brand, they actually love this brand. So, with that, taking awareness to brand affinity, brand buzz into that increased share of voice in the market, fan acquisition to leads, and then of course taking that.
That's time.
Oh, time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. That was great. Congratulations.